Okay, I want to get on to our main reason we're all here tonight is to hear from, get some information from Habitat for Humanity St. Louis. I think we've, both our organization and Harper's both have a common interest in providing quality, affordable housing to deserving clients in the St. Louis area from different angles possibly, but it's a similar end effect. So tonight we have Harper Zielonko from, she's the Director of Resource Development. And hopefully tonight we can discover some ways how we can get involved locally here with the Habitat for Humanity St. Louis. Harper, glad to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Lloyd. My name is Harper Zielonko, and I have a title that tells you absolutely nothing about what I do for a living. That's what we do in nonprofits. And I'm also going to warn you all, my desk is a converted ottoman space in my spare bedroom, and I don't have a chair that fits it. So I'm on one of those exercise balls. So I'm going to do this because I don't sit still very well. So if it gets to the point where I'm like really going, somebody just like put your hands up and tell me to sit still a little bit because it can be very distracting, I have been told. So I'll try to sit still. So I have been with Habitat for Humanity St. Louis for 5 years and with other Habitat affiliates for almost 10. I was in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I was in San Francisco, California. I like that Goldie three bears like analogy. I did the big, little, and this is my nice medium perfect fit. So while I've been around here for 5 years, Habitat for Humanity St. Louis has been around for about 34 years. And in that amount of time, our affiliate has built 400 plus homes, most of those being in the last 10 to 15 years, which is a lot. And in Habitat world, we build somewhere between 15 and 25 houses every year in St. Louis City and St. Louis County. That makes us a big kid in Habitat world. And when I talk about Habitat world, it's important to make a distinction because Habitat for Humanity International is our parent company. And we work kind of like franchises where like they set the rules at the top level and then we get to function how we need to in our communities. And as someone who has built in various different communities, what we did in Little Rock, what I did in San Francisco, and what we do in St. Louis all looks very different. So we are able to do that. And for the most part, that means building single family homes here in St. Louis. Most of them are new. We do take on rehabs every once in a while as we're able to. Most often when we get opportunities in neighborhoods where we could not afford to build new, but we might be able to get in and take something down to the studs and bring it up to a brand new level and put a new family in it. The fundamentals of our program are often overlooked. People love Habitat, which is great. We have this worldwide brand that has been championed by a president, Ann Rosalind. I've actually seen her on work sites, and I'll be honest, she swings a hammer better than the president. Nobody tell him that. But what we do is actually a partnership with our families. We're also not a giveaway program. I really don't mind if you forget my name, any of the quippy little jokes that I make, or anything else about Habitat, but I want you to remember that Habitat does not give homes away. That's a very common misconception about our program. Our program offers an opportunity for families. So they partner with us, they qualify for their home based on their income, which in the St. Louis area is based on their family size. And most people don't usually have that much of a problem qualifying for that if they're having problems seeking affordable housing. We have a major affordable housing stock problem in St. Louis and honestly globally. So they qualify for the home based on their income and their need. Need is also not usually a struggle for people. That could be anything from overcrowding to being in unsafe conditions or being overly rent burdened, which is what we see the most often. And then they agreed to pay an affordable mortgage, which we source with our banking partners as part of a mortgage loan fund that we actually spearheaded and put together. It's one of the first of its kind, again, in Habitat world, where we partner with banks. They make initial investments. We do all of the back end work, and they put their trust in us and our program in order to back those loans and then take them over, which often qualify for CRA credits. So then our homeowners pay an affordable mortgage, and then they also put in 350 sweat equity hours. And this is my favorite part because you actually get to see homeowners out building their homes. They also go through maintenance classes, they go through literacy classes, their kids have access to tutoring and some other programming that we provide because we really want them to be part of the Habitat family, and we want them to be the best homeowners that come into any neighborhood that they're going to be in. We're only St. Louis City and St. Louis County, so river to river. We build in any neighborhoods that we can afford to be in, and that actually offers a lot of choice for our homeowners. And that was a shift that we took about 10 years ago. We used to go into neighborhoods and just build as many Habitat homes as we could, but we realized we were training our families to make the biggest financial decisions of their lives, and we were telling them where to do it. And that's not really fair. As realtors, you guys know you don't really get to do that with people, and so we didn't want to do that with our families. So they have some choice in where they live. They're not waiting for downtown Clayton, but if they want to be closer to their church families and they don't want to remove their kids from school and they want to stay close to work, they can wait a little bit longer in our program to wait for a house that works for them. We're with them the whole way through the program. We do all of this with financial support from multiple sources. But honestly, most of it's privately held. So it's from individuals who write a $10 check a month. It's from corporations and businesses who believe in our mission and are willing to make a financial contribution. We also make income from our 2 restores, which kind of function like a combination between Lowe's and Home Goods. And that helps provide coverage for our overhead, so that we're able to put as much dollars that come in back to supporting the mission as humanly possible. And we do events and things like that, but fundamentally we want people to come out, volunteer on our work sites, and be next to our families. We host about 5,000 volunteers every year that come out on a Habitat site. Most are complete novices. Some think they're really well trained and skilled. We will patiently and safely teach them the Habitat way. And they can come out and work with us. So you can volunteer with Habitat. We always need donations. We're a nonprofit. We're not a state or federally subsidized nonprofit. So that means that we have to do what we do at the grassroots level. It also does not rain money from Habitat for Humanity International. We raise about 97% of what we need to use in our community. So it really is a grassroots effort here in St. Louis. I think I've now been talking for like 10 straight minutes at you. I'm going to very briefly talk about our COVID response, just so people are aware. We pride ourselves as an organization in being very diverse. So we try to bring money in from different sources. We have a restore, which kind of self-perpetuates our cycle. I'll be honest, we had to shut everything down. Our restore shut down very, very quickly into this because we realized we didn't know what was out there, nor how we could keep our patrons safe. They have still not reopened. We're working on that plan right now, but the stores have to be restructured, and we had to get access to some safety equipment that we didn't normally have access to. So those are coming. I have no idea when we will have volunteers back on our sites. Most people are not clamoring to get back on our sites, but that's how we build affordable housing. We're able to leverage volunteer labor to keep our costs down and keep the builds moving forward. So while we have a paid construction staff, there's 6 of them, and we have to space them out on a work site. And so construction has really slowed down. They're still working. We're actually hoping to close a house in the next month. Those that family has been very patient. They have 4 children and they're all at home in a very tiny apartment right now, waiting for their gorgeous new house. But everything has changed for us, and we weren't a big events organization, so that's not where we had the biggest shift in income. When most of the people who support your organization like to go out and swing hammers, having a gala ball doesn't really work for you. So that's not something that we've done. But a lot of our corporate support has disappeared because they like to come out on our site, and that's how we thank them for their support. And most of that is gone. So one of the things that you guys mentioned was, how can you get involved with Habitat? I pride myself on finding a fit for everyone. So I'm going to give 3 examples, and then if you want to know more, you find me and I will find you a fit. So you're always welcome to donate to Habitat. I raise money for a living, so if I say no to money, I'm not doing my job. We can do that as an individual or a business. We do the media and marketing that comes with any of that. So you can donate to Habitat St. Louis, habitatstl.org. That comes directly to us. At some point, I would love for you to volunteer with us. We'd love to have you out on the work sites, meeting our families and seeing what we're doing. And then eventually, hopefully, shopping at our restores and donating to our restores, because we need those stocked with inventory as soon as we're able to safely open them up again. So I talk for a living. I could do this forever, but I'm happy to take questions about who we are and what we do, or anything else that anybody can think of. I can find a tangent if you don't have one for me. I'll take as much time as you're willing to give us.
Any questions for Harper?
So someone just asked, what items do you need at your restore? So I'll tell you what we take, and you can comb your house. So I see several people, you know, in their like spare bedrooms. We take all of that. So almost anything that will go into your house, we're going to take. Furniture, appliances. If you're doing a rehab, doors, windows, trim, all of that, if it's in good shape, we'll take it. Anything that has a hazmat concern, like open cans of paint, unfortunately, we can't take anymore. And that's kind of common nowadays. But almost anything that will go into your house, or safely, or maybe not so safely, come out of your house, we will take as a donation, and we can actually schedule pickups once we're up and ready to go. There's a complete list of items if you go to the HabitatSTL.org website of what we take and what we don't take. And I man the Facebook page right now, so if you have additional questions, you can message me through Facebook on our Habitat restore pages. Will we still be doing builds in the COVID environment? Yes. We're still trying to figure out what that looks like. We can because of the structure of our houses, we do believe we can very safely space people out. So 6 feet of distance, you know, protective equipment. We're going to require masks on our sites. I have some lovely church ladies who are working on those right now, actually, for us. And it will be a kind of BY your own mask situation. But safety has always been at the forefront of what we do on our site. So we will continue to do that as we're able to. We pride ourselves on not crowding our work sites, because we want you to have a really good experience when you come out. Like it doesn't do anybody any good if you're standing by the side, like holding a trash bag your entire day. So our groups are small, usually around 10 people. And if you're working across, you know, a 6-room house, we can spread people out. So we're going to be able to do it. We haven't started yet, but I would say probably in the next 3 weeks, we hope to have volunteers back out on our sites. So someone asked, how do you qualify your new Habitat homeowners? So they can actually call our Habitat line, and we'll do a kind of a pre-screen over the phone, and then we'll send them a preliminary application, and then they'll get a call. We usually do this in person, but they'll get a call from someone on our staff that will walk them through a pre-qualification process. So they're going to ask them about their income. They're going to ask them about need, and we'll walk them through the entire program. But they will have to qualify and provide verification to become one of our homeowners. And it's not a quick process. Usually it takes about a year for people to start the program and get into a house. And sometimes it might be longer than that. You know, if they're waiting for a particular neighborhood, or, you know, maybe they need to clean up some pieces of their credit, or maybe they don't have any credit and we need to work with them on getting some of those things together. Someone asked, how much do our homeowners pay? They usually average about $550 a month in a mortgage payment. That includes taxes and insurance. That's for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house that's designed to zero energy ready environmental standards. So we actually build to the level above LEED Platinum. So our houses are not crappy. Our houses are gorgeous. They're environmentally sound. We want them to last for generations. And we're really proud of some of the designs of our house. You can actually see those on our website as well. We like to design to the aesthetic of our neighborhood, but also that's something that's going to elevate the neighborhood. So they might have brick fronts. If we're building in historic Tiffany, we built some houses in Carondelet that have a really cool, like, shotgun style. They've got a finished basement. They're beautiful houses. I would live in them in an absolute heartbeat. Oh, let's see. Many of our members have building and rehab skills and could be team leaders. What type of skills are needed, and what type of skills do you need from volunteers? So that's actually a really good question. You don't have to have any skills. We love a novice, but you know, if you are skilled, we'd love to have you out with us. And we actually have a program for people who come out. I say drinking the Habitat Kool-Aid. I probably need a new reference, but if you really get the Habitat bug and you want to come out with us, you can actually go through a construction leadership program that we have designed, where you train to lead Habitat volunteers on our work sites. So we do a lot of what we do with trained volunteers. So you'll come out to a site and there's a Habitat staff person in charge. I promise you're supervised. There might be a couple of people there that are Habitat construction members, but then we'll break you into smaller teams. So you might have a team of 3 people, and that's led by a construction leader, and that person's entirely volunteer based. They might have come in with some skills, they might not have, but they've gone through our leadership program, and we would love to have you. You can be as active as you want to be. We have some people who come out with us 3 days a week. We have some people who only do Saturdays. You know, some people call us and say, hey, I've got an open Tuesday, can I come out? And a lot of them say yes. This is another good question. We have a couple. So someone asked, homeownership requires a lot of responsibility. Does your program teach this responsibility? Yes. So I bought my house 4 years ago, and you guys probably experienced this as realtors. If you qualify for your home through the financial part, that's usually about all you get. Our homeowners go through an extension education class. So they have to go through a financial literacy course. They have to go through a better home ownership course, which kind of talks about the transition from renting to home ownership. So a lot of people don't know about property taxes, or, you know, if their neighborhood has an HOA or a neighborhood association or any of those kind of components. We teach those components so that when they go into the neighborhood, they're not surprised by any of those pieces of home ownership. They also go through maintenance and walkthroughs of their own house, and they get a binder that's like about this thick that literally says something like, your circuit breaker got braked. How do you fix that? Or how do you, we'll go through basic plumbing. We'll go through basic electrical. How do you cut your grass? Like when I got my first apartment and I had to cut grass, I had to call my dad. I didn't know how to put gas in the, things like that. So yes, we do go through those things. Another person asked, can the new homeowner sell the house or move out and lease? So we only do home ownership. And one of the things that we put in place as Habitat to keep people from getting into the program and like flipping the houses is a second forgivable mortgage that goes away over time. So they can't come in and just flip the house because they're buying it at an affordable rate. So say their mortgage is for 150,000, but the house appraised for 175,000. They would have to pay back that $175,000 if they decided, you know, day 2 after closing that they wanted to flip the house. We've not really experienced that since that was put in place. It'd be quite the long con if they were into it. They have to put quite a lot of work into this. So we do have protections in place for that. Someone else asked, do you find homes for veterans as well? Yes, not veterans specifically, because we're an affordable housing organization. We can't exactly designate by class. So as long as that veteran qualifies on our program based on just the same principles that everybody else does, we would be happy to have them. Someone asked, is electrical and plumbing done by volunteers or do you hire skilled trades? We hire skilled trades. If it has to be inspected, so electrical, plumbing, that's union. So we will have trades come in and do that. We don't let volunteers do electrical or plumbing. We don't let our staff do electrical or plumbing. So those things are taken care of. Someone said most of our members are investors and not realtors. We see Habitat as an investment in the community. So if you're ever looking at a neighborhood and there's a Habitat home, give us a call. We'd love to know the neighborhoods that you're investing in. Also, if you are investing in a neighborhood and you have a couple of houses or want to do something with Habitat to help bring that investment buy-in, you want to have another partner, give us a call too there, because that's something that we will do in partnership with other organizations. It's always better when there's 3 investors coming in versus 1. You don't want to be the lone partner. Give us a call. There might be something that we can help with. Another person asked about the percentage of homes that end up in foreclosure. So our percentage, last time I checked, was actually under 1%. And that shows obviously effectiveness of model, but it also is part of the uniqueness of our program. So while our mortgages are held by banks, we have such a close relationship with our homeowners and those banks that if someone, say, falls a month behind, we get a call. Very often what will happen is the staff member who knows that homeowner will call and show up on their doorstep and we'll find out what's going on. So we can take measures as an organization because of the bond we've developed with the home buyer to prevent foreclosures. Just through communication processes. It's not like we're going to, give them the mortgage, but we can figure out what's going on. We've been able to keep in touch with all of our home buyers during the COVID response and just make sure everybody's doing okay. What can we be doing to help them if they're not okay? We've been doing a lot of grocery cards, some transit cards, and some other little things that we can help with. But right now, everybody's firmly okay. We worry more about 6 months down the line when things have shifted again, how our home buyers will be, but we'll be here to help them through that at that time. Yeah. So someone else asked about partnership opportunities. Excuse me, just one second. I'm gonna take a little drink here. So partnership opportunities is essentially what I do for a living. We partner, so let me take a step back. Most people partner with us because they want to volunteer on one of our work sites and they like our mission. So I'll work with them to figure out what they want. So we might have a marketing component to it. We pair philanthropic giving with volunteer service, and that's how we keep our model moving. So because it costs us $175,000 to build a house and our homeowners qualify for less than that, we have a gap. So we fill that with donations and we fill that with our partnerships. So I'll give a couple of examples. So Wells Fargo has been a partner with us for a long time. They like to come out on our volunteer sites. I love to have them. They're spectacular. They're one of the only ones that show up on time. Don't tell anybody I said that. But we figure out a financial component, a marketing component, and how many days they want, and I build a partnership for them. Some people like to write a check and they're done. Some people want a Facebook post and they're done. Some people want to build more long-term partnerships. They want to give monthly, or, you know, they want a closer partnership with one of our families. I can work with that too. Some people want to sponsor events. I find a way around that because, like, we don't have a golf tournament. Thank God. So I find different things to do. One of the ideas that we actually started up last year and was going really strongly this year until the whole world fell apart, is something I call an industry challenge. So we work with a particular industry. So last April, we worked with title agencies in the area. We had 11 title agencies that signed on. And at each closing, they gave $5 per side per closing to Habitat in the month of April. And we didn't pit them against each other. I didn't say which title agency raised what, but they raised $21,000 for Habitat in 1 month, just by donating a certain amount of money per side at closing. And that's a model I would like to continue because it gets Habitat in front of a new audience of people. And we get all kinds of new exposure from both sides. So that's another example of a partnership. I'm always open to new ideas because a lot of you are investors in homes. I think there's opportunities there that we've maybe not tapped. So, you know, if you guys are looking for brand awareness or a little visibility, that's something that we can work with. If you wanted to do something like I just talked about, where we focus in on your industry, we could build an industry challenge for you all as well. So there's a lot out there that we can take care of. Someone asked for a copy of terms of partnership contract. I write those uniquely for each relationship, so I can provide those as you would like. We like to write out what the expectations are for both sides. And because you guys are investment, I would assume that you guys write all of everything out. We can take care of that. I can provide you a few examples just so you know what we're kind of talking about. I miss anybody? Let's see. Good questions, by the way. Okay, so someone asks, sometimes we end up with spare lots. Do you take these as donations on both sides of the river or just St. Louis? So we are only St. Louis City and St. Louis County. Yes, we take spare lots, but we reserve the right to be choosy. So we're not going to take just anything. If we can't put a home buyer in a certain neighborhood on a lot, we're going to tell you. And we will also do our due diligence. So, you know, if you have something buried in this lot that we need to take a look at and excavate and put in infrastructure and things like that, we're going to ask about it. So, but we get a lot of the lots that we use through the city, through private partnerships. Some will buy outright. A lot of those opportunities have evaporated as we're able to get to those, but we'll kind of work with anybody. So somebody asked about method of contact, and I think I should be able to put it into this little box here. So bear with me. I'm going to give you my email address that you can reach me at. I'm also on our website. And right now I'm monitoring all of our social media channels because I have a furloughed employee. So you can reach me on all of the social media, but email is the best way to get in touch with me, which is harper@habitatstl.org. Haha. Oh, that didn't work. Here we go. All right. That's in there. And Lloyd and John, feel free to share my contact information as if anybody is interested. All right. Oh, here we go. Restores. So we have 2 restores. We have one behind the Sam's Club in Des Peres. It's kind of a weird little road, and we got in a lovely legal fight with Sam's Club about signage. So you can't really see our signage, but I swear we're back there, and it's a very large store. And then we have a second store that we actually relocated guess it's been over a year now. It's terrible that I can't think of how long that was, but we're at Chippewa and Grand now in Dutchtown. That used to be at Forest Park Parkway, but that building is gone. An investor came in and is putting a lovely hotel in. So those are our restores. New and used building supplies and home goods. They're open to the public. We take donations. We schedule pickups once we're back and open, I promise. The stock in those is incredible. If you want brand new countertops, you can get those in the DePere store. If you like the vintage look, my house is 106 years old, so when something breaks, it has to be custom made. Or you can go to the Habitat Restore in Dutchtown and find a door that's original and 106 years old and mostly fits. But those are the kind of treasures that you find there. Inventory changes hourly when stores are open. And we're hoping within the next probably less than 2 weeks, we'll have both of those stores open again. We're just working through staffing and safety at the moment. All right. Do you work with the county and any tax foreclosure properties? Yes. We work with anybody who wants to work with us within Raisin. So we will work with the city, we will work with the county, we'll work on tax abatement with them. We actually have a development right now with the St. Louis Housing Authority that is basically around the neighborhood that used to be Peabody Darce Webby, that they put developments in behind that elementary school. They started that development probably 15 years ago. And as we all know, there was a developer that couldn't complete their side of the bargain and went through some legal trouble. And so Habitat was able to come in and bid on that project. And we have 5 homes under construction right now. And we will have 5 more homes in that neighborhood that will be finished out. And so there is some subsidy there with the city of St. Louis. We used to have access to considerably more affordable housing subsidy dollars, but most of that money doesn't really exist anymore. So we try to get to it when we can. I'm starting to bounce a little bit, I just noticed. I don't sit still very well. This work from home thing is rough. All right. I've been talking at you guys for 40 minutes now. Oh, here we go. I work with National Habitat. So this is my hand gestures. Habitat for Humanity International is parent company. It's kind of like an umbrella. We're under them. They set the guidelines and some of our rules and restrictions, but we operate how we need to in our environment. I think there's like 325 operational Habitat affiliates. And the reason I don't know that number is that the majority of Habitat affiliates, that's what we call ourselves, build 1 to 2 houses a year. So they're not very big. Most of them don't have paid staff. They're very, very small. We're a big kid. We have rankings and categories that won't mean anything to anybody, but St. Louis has a massive need. We get about 5,000 phone calls every year, people asking about housing. We've already seen an uptick during this pandemic of that need. So we expect that to grow, not diminish. There's no real reason for it to diminish because we're not building, or we're not building as much. We really do operate independently from them. The money is not raining down from them. They'll set up some national partnerships with us, but for the most part, this is grassroots. So this is a tricky question, and I'm going to diplomatically dance around it. So, do you receive any of the donations made to Habitat for Humanity International? Is it better to donate to our organization? I got a little sign. This might be backwards, so I apologize. Oh, it's backwards. I'm not even going to do it. Okay. So, if you want the money to come to Habitat for Humanity St. Louis, the best way to do it is to give it to Habitat for Humanity St. Louis. Very often what will happen is someone will make a donation to Habitat International and it will not come to us. It will not come to us unless that donor lets us know that money was designated for us. And then we have to kind of wrestle it back, and they they take a percentage. So you want that money to come locally. You want it to build locally. You have to give it locally. So bummed my sign doesn't work. It really is nice. So just like look in the mirror, everybody. It's really nice. I don't know how to flip it. But it says, did you know 100% of your gift given directly to Habitat for Humanity St. Louis stays in St. Louis? Oh, that's better.
I think it's the right way.
Good.
Mhm.
And then I have the little, like, our mailing address is in St. Louis. Our website is in St. Louis.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Mhm.
We want to build houses here, so we want that money to stay here. Habitat International does great stuff. They really do. But fundamentally, they're not the ones building the houses. We are. Oh, did I miss one? No. All right. All right, John, Lloyd, how we doing?
I think you're doing great, Harper. You answered all the questions. Yeah, we can see your sign okay, I believe. If you want to hold it up,
good.
if you want to hold it up so we can get a good look at that, and we get a screenshot so we can save that.
Perfect.
Okay, and if you want to do the other side too,
Yes.
there we go. Mugshot, yeah.
It's fine with me.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be happy to share that. We'll put that on our website.
Perfect. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I've been to your Repair store, restore, and I was very impressed with the quality of some of the donations that have come in there. In fact,
Cool.
I left with a couple of doors myself that day that I wasn't even looking for.
Oh yeah. I could tour you around my house, and that's kind of how it happens. I get up to stretch
Yeah,
my legs.
you could furnish an entire house there, or even the furniture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed. And whenever I do a rehab or I'm updating one of my rentals, I usually donate the whole light fixtures and plumbing fixtures if they're still, good and usable.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Restore too. So, and usually when I drop off that at the back door, I come around the front door, and a lot of times I leave with more than I dropped off.
Yeah.
That's a problem I have going there.
Oh, so you've noticed that how it works, huh?
Yeah, I noticed that. I guess that's part of your plan, though, right?
Yes, it is. And I'll also tell you, because you all are investors, we actually do tear down services. So if you buy a building or a house, and we're not going to just come out to take toilets, but if it's a reasonable use of our time, we'll come in and strip it. So like we've helped with some big office buildings. Like if we can spend a week there, we'll come and do a walkthrough. You get a tax deduction for it, for the materials and for the labor. So like, it's a pretty sweet deal. If there's enough that's viable within the structure.
Yeah, good.
Excellent.
Yay. Yeah, sound like Diana just said too. Yeah, she shops there and thinks it's a
Beautiful.
good, awesome cause, our awesome organization. So
Glad.
really appreciate you being with us tonight, Harper.
Thanks for the opportunity. Anytime.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you'll be in touch with some of our members that want to be involved, and we'll bring it up at the our board meeting next week. See what we can maybe to do some partnership with you.
Looking forward to it. If you would, if you'd like to host the board on a work site sometime, let me know. That might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
do that.
Oh, someone asked about renting out meeting rooms. So we actually do have a large meeting room in our new office space, which is at Chippewa and Grand. We're not renting it out right now. I heard earlier in your discussion that you have a problem finding a meeting space for next month. I can't give it to you yet, but it is a very large meeting space. We host our 31-person board in that room, and we've also had gatherings, closer to 50, 55 that can be in that space. And a nice tour through the admin space, construction warehouse, and it ends in the restore before they, can come back and go to their meeting space. So we do have some meeting space available if you're looking for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, good. And you said it was about 50 was the maximum capacity?
Yeah, that's usually what we can do. If you've got something where you just need people standing around for a networking event, we might be able to push it a little bit more, but just reach out to me and we can figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, we do have some smaller, we usually have more people than that on our monthly meetings, but
Gotcha.
we do have some smaller training events and things that we do throughout the year.
Yeah,
Would fit that.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Any last questions?
Doesn't look like it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay. Yeah, everybody says thank you. And we really appreciate you being with us, Harper.
Happy to do so. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Hope
you.
to see you on the site
Hey.
soon. But
Thank you. Thank you, John, for organizing for us.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for coming too. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
Harper.
for everybody to join us tonight. Take care, and we'll be in touch on future events.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, I'm gonna end it.